What is happening, everyone? Welcome to Cockney Rated 99 here with the Crafty Couple. I am joined by the OG himself, Mr. Adam Matic. How you getting on, Ads?
Good, mate. Good. Sort of looking forward to the weekend, but fearing the football side of it, as usual.
As per usual, that is just the way with United. You don't seem to look forward to games as much anymore. I mean, Last night it was absolute dross. I mean, Ads, what did you think of it, mate? I mean, there's nothing worse than conceding, getting a draw or a loss in the last minute. But especially when we were playing as bad as we were, we thought we got away with it, but hadn't got it in the end. And it's happened to us twice now at Old Trafford in the last month. So it's getting bad, man.
This is the problem right now. It used to be us getting these last-minute wins, didn't it? And now all of a sudden it's role reversed on us. We just seem to be conceding all the time in the last minute. But I think last night, ultimately, mate, there was a team that wanted it and there was a team that really didn't want to be there. And we were the ones that didn't want to be there, mate. You could just tell. I've just done a video myself on my channel now just saying that we need to ditch the Europa League, mate. Otherwise, this season's in serious problems because look at that squad right now, mate, and the injuries that are piling up. This team, we've seen it last night against an AC Milan team that was missing some serious players, and we got outplayed. Simple as, mate. We got outplayed last night.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you, man. We were terrible. I mean, we got a bit of luck there with the old VAR because that was an absolutely brilliant strike from Frank Kessie. I mean, that must be one of the best disallowed goals of all time, I'd say. That was just very harsh.
Mate. When you break it down, mate, and you say, yeah, we missed a couple of chances, but they had 2 goals disallowed as well. So, and we had 2 shots on goal the whole game, mate. So, says everything you need to know.
I mean, look, we go back to the San Siro now. I mean, I've always wanted to go to the San Siro and see United for a game. Yeah,
I've been. It is awesome.
It's supposed to be brilliant. I mean, a mate of mine went. He said it would literally, you could feel it vibrating, and it was about to fall apart.
It shakes, mate. The stadium shakes. It's weird. It's like one of them. It's like one of them new modern day buildings that are adapted to move about 16 inches either side, or whatever it is. But when they score, mate, it's a different noise, and it vibrates. Luckily enough for us, the players won't be feeling that next week. But well, we've seen what happens with no fans in the stadium when we play these guys at home. Will it be different at the San Siro? Oh, mate, it all depends on who's fit and available. But right now, I want out of it, mate. I think it's going to kill our season.
I think it will kill our season, to be honest. I mean, me and you had said to get out. We talked about it before, and we thought we had a title challenge on for that little 2-week period. We were saying get out of it straight away.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good opportunity for a trophy. So that in that sense, I don't see Ollie throwing it. But I mean, our away form has been phenomenal this year. So I think we go to the San Siro probably looking like we'll probably do better than we did at home. So it could be a good win for us.
That's exactly how Ollie's looking at it, isn't it? He's saying, look, what is it, 22 or some games away from home, unbeaten, whatever it may be now. 22, 23. It's a big run. It's a very good run. I mean, the fact that we are unbeaten is significant for this whole season. But I'm looking at it going West Ham this weekend, and we don't get the win there. Then we've got the FA Cup the following weekend. What's more important? Would we be happier with a win against AC Milan, having dropped points against West Ham and been knocked out by Leicester? I know where I think and where I know United should be going, mate. That's getting the win against West Ham and getting into the semi-finals of the FA Cup, mate. I think I'll be a lot happier with that because I don't see us winning all 3 games. I really don't. I don't think the squad, knowing that Leicester, like West Ham, are going to have had a full week to prepare for us, rested players. We've got to decide, mate, or the season could be drifting away. Mate, there's a chance that we don't beat West Ham. We lose to AC Milan and Leicester, and we're out of everything. Well, no, we've got his 9 games left in the league in 1 week. That's how big this week is. And there's some massive decisions that need to be made, mate, because we could be either in all competitions, we've made a good decision in concentrating on the league and the FA Cup and out of the Europa League, or we could be in bad form in the league, getting beaten by West Ham or drawing with West Ham, because either one is a bad result for us. We can't have anything but a win. And then out of the FA Cup and Europa League, man, woof, then the pressure's really mounting on Ollie, because the only reason them financial figures that just came out have got any sort of respectability about them is because of the Champions League money, mate. So if we don't get Champions League, Ollie's job is done, mate.
It's yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you, man. It's looking worse and worse, and especially with what's come out today. I haven't got a chance to read the article about the Athletic, but it's basically just telling us what we already know, that in terms of the Glazers are shagging us, essentially. That's just what it is, and we all already knew that, but it's just a more in-depth way of looking at it. And, you know, I mean, we had to loan 60 million for running costs, and they still paid themselves dividends. And I think it's stuff. It's nothing we didn't expect.
That's classed as a running cost, making sure the shareholders and the ownership get their dividends and get their pay out of it. That revolving credit is even more, mate. It's like an overdraft. We only take out, I think it was about 150 million. That's what it goes up to. We can take out of that whatever we want. Obviously, the interest goes up with the more you take out, but looking like 60 million that has been taken out has gone to running costs, and making sure that whoever needs their money and has been promised their money by the likes of Ed Woodward's, shareholders, whatnot, get their share as well, mate. They're classing that as a running cost, and it's hard for us to take. We have to accept it, because these guys are geniuses at what they do. Absolute geniuses. The fact that this football club gets in the way means absolutely nothing to these guys. They're just making absolute fortunes off Manchester United, and they're going to keep making fortunes, even in a pandemic, mate, when we've got no gate receipts and money coming in from game days is down 95%. They're still making money. How? Mate, how?
Well, it's such a big global brand, United, that they will always make money. You've got the TV deals, I think, you know, in terms of sponsorship deals as well, you know, that, and then you talk about
coming, mate.
A new shirt sponsor incoming as well. I mean, it's an endless source of revenue is Man United, it seems, and it always will be. I mean, I've heard someone talk about, like, they're not even they could do a lot more with it as well. If you think about, I heard someone, I think it was on Stretford Paddock, they were talking, basically saying you could have a Netflix style sort of a streaming platform where you can go back and watch games from the 90s and the 80s, and I could see United doing that, and you pay what, you know, a tenner a month or 50.
Mate, we're already seeing it, aren't we? The streaming society is taking over. We're seeing the likes of Amazon coming in now, mate. It's not going to be long before Facebook or someone like that jumps on this bandwagon, mate. That's where the money and the powerhouses are. People at home, there's only one winner. There's only one winner, mate. Broadcasters. For us, fangoers, game match watchers, whatever you want to call it, season ticket holders, it's not an era for us right now. It's global, worldwide, mate.
It's becoming like the NFL, mate. That's what it is.
That's what they want, mate. That's what they want. They don't want the pitfalls of relegation. Look at the NFL. You get rewarded for coming bottom by getting your draft picks.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that's what they want. That's why they want that Super League, because they know the money will constantly be there no matter what. And they're not going to get punished if they don't make the Champions League or, worst case scenario, relegated.
It's a big run there saying about MUTV, but I'm just saying, like, in terms of it, MUTV is on, and they used to have the
thing is, mate, you look up MUTV. Any average Joe, you put in front of them MUTV, Netflix. There's only one way to go in, like you said, mate, innit?
Yeah, Netflix.
You're drawn to Netflix because it's got everything. Amazon.
Yeah.
Know what I mean?
This is the thing. MUTV, they could do it so much better, but and I'm sure that they will in a few years, and they'll make some serious dough off it. And it just seems endless, man. And it's sad, but I think the way you've got to look at it as well, they're trying to change. You're not just trying to make the Premier League like the NFL. You're not. Bitz is there. He's sitting at home for himself.
He's on a lemsip with a straw, isn't he?
He's got a lemsip for himself, lying in bed. Bitz was meant to be on tonight, but he is rather ill for himself. But No, but like they're trying to change the Premier League into like the NFL, where it's a different culture. There's no like I've been to NFL games. It's a massive. He's got a big straw for his left.
Is it a curly one? Is it a curly one, Bob's mate? Is it one of them curly ones that you can see your Lemsic going all the way up?
It's a big curly straw, and it's a photo. There's like there's a little action figure of Captain America or something. But I've been to NFL games and stuff. I've been to ones in London, and I went there when I was with my sister out in Boston, and it's a different culture. It's not tribalism, like because the games aren't anywhere near as often, and it's nothing like football in the slightest. The same with the MLS. It's just American sports. They're not as tribal. They're not as MUFC, a religion, is a banner for a reason. It is.
It's a show, isn't it, mate? Have you been to a baseball game?
Yeah, I have, mate. It's about 6 hours long. It
is. It's like a show, isn't it, mate? That's what it is. It's not. It's like it doesn't look like a sporting event. It's like there's a show. The halftime shows, the gaps, the breaks, the music. It's just it's a day out, isn't it?
It's a day out. Like I've been to hockey, baseball, and American football over there. It's a full on day out. You're just on the beer. It's great crack. Like don't get me wrong, it's good fun.
I know.
But there's and you'll cheer and you'll have and you will enjoy it in terms of as a sports fan. But in terms of like I'm sure there are diehard Boston Red Sox fans or whatever they're out there, but it's not in the same way of football. That you have, you're not going to have 3,000 Boston Red Sox fans traveling to fucking LA for a Dodgers game. Like it's a completely different country, sport, culture, everything. You can't change it. And doing that, introducing that sort of no relegation, that sort of way that they think that they can go down, it won't work. I don't think it will personally go. It won't flow. Like you won't have. I feel like everyone would sort of abandon it. I can't see. I personally
It's going to take all our fixtures away, mate. Us travelling up and down the country. It's going to take that away.
But what are you like? Do you know what I mean? I love like when I was living in Manchester. I love going to Burnley away, random Huddersfield, nice little away trips. I don't want to have to fucking go to see us play in Dubai against Atletico Madrid. Like that's what they're aiming towards, and it's going to kill the game, man. It's brutal,
mate. If that happens, I'm moving to non-league football.
That's what I've said that as well. I'd support FC United if that happened. To be honest,
yeah. You know what? Salford's literally 5 minutes away from me. Go and watch Salford or whatever in League Two, whatever it may be, because that's the end of the game, mate. If that happens, if we end up doing like what you said, like exactly like the NFL franchise and taking the games abroad. I mean, how their fans, because there are diehard fans. You mentioned the tribalism; it's not as finger, but there are diehard NFL. What I mean, Major League Baseball, whatever sort of sport you watch or follow. There are diehard fans there, and it's like when the franchise moves cities. That actual club and name goes to a different state, and it's like what?
I mean, it did happen here once with MK Dons, so it's not beyond the realms of possibility to happen here again.
I mean, I'm looking at the Raiders there now, just setting up in Vegas. They've been everywhere.
They've been Oakland, LA, and now Las Vegas. I mean, I'm delighted because I'm probably gonna try and go to a game out there. But that's what they're aiming towards. They're aiming towards a tourist fan who's going to come to the game, spend a few $100s. Buy a jersey, spend a load of money on food and drink. That's what they're aiming towards, and that is what as you're a season ticket holder as well, and you're in the Sarek stand, aren't you as well?
I'll be moved there next season. Yeah, not bad.
Yeah, well that's that's where I am. Like, and all this fair play. They travel from far and wide. But it's not the same people sitting around you most weeks. Like they're all from package companies, and they're fair play to them. They support United, but it's taken away from that, and that's what United are aiming towards. To sell to people, a package deal of you spend 1,500 quid, you get a couple of nights in hotel football, a tour of the stadium one day, and you get to see us play Watford on the Saturday. Like that's what they want to aim towards, because in terms of like the away tickets being slashed to £30 and stuff like that's no good for United. United don't want any involvement in that. So
mate, it's not when all them tickets are going to the executive season ticket holders, and they're just selling them for 300 a pop to the foreigners just to pay for their executive seats. You know what I mean, mate? The rich are getting richer from just being one of these executive seats at Manchester United, mate. They don't have to pay for that. They sell a couple of away tickets because they get priority in the ballot, which is ridiculous. And then we've seen it, mate. We've been to away games. We've seen, I guarantee, and it's not being, it's not being critical of what a typical United fan is, but there's no way that some of them people going to the away games are season ticket holders who've entered the ballot. Guarantee it, mate. Guarantee it. We've all seen it.
But I remember speaking to someone when I went to Tranmere, and I'd got it in the ballot, and it was 25 quid, like face value, which is fair enough. It's Tranmere, and they had bought it off a tout for £120. Like, it was like the markup from touts is ridiculous. I remember trying to get tickets for the Chelsea away,
300 quid,
250, 300 quid for the away end.
Yeah.
That was like standard. I tried getting a ticket for Watford away. I ended up buying one in the home end. I got it for 30 quid. Someone quoted me the away end, £150. Like, the way it's gone is just completely mental, man.
Yeah, I mean, you touched on it the other day, mate. You've had the phone call. I'm due mine, obviously. But e-tickets, is that going to take that element away? Maybe that is a good thing. It's going to take the touts out of the game, but it's looking very, very complicated right now just to watch a football match. But
I don't see how it does take the touts out of the game, because you can still print it. That was one of the things that he said to me on the phone. So basically now, as what me and Ad talked about, the Premier League has implemented the thing. It's not just Man United. They've implemented that. So your season ticket goes into your Apple wallet, essentially like a gig ticket would or anything, and it's a barcode that you scan. But you can print it as well. That is what they said. So I don't know. It may take away. But if you talk about, I mean, we have had some massive news in terms of appointing a football director, not a director of football, because apparently that one's coming in soon as well.
They had to be different, didn't they, mate? And just change.
They had to be different. But no, apparently is a director of football going to be appointed as well as Murta. Is it Murta or Murta? I don't know how you pronounce it.
Yeah, it's Murta, isn't it? It's just abbreviated. It's what it is. It's one of them silent ones. But he's 14 years in his job. Promoted from within.
I don't have a problem with Murta as an appointment, to be honest. And I think Fletcher's a good appointment as well. You know, United DNA.
I think Fletcher's deliberately there. If I was looking at it from the outside, I would say Fletcher's in that job to make sure that youth setup carries on working the way it has for decades, mate. Fair enough. Good appointment if that's his role. He knows football. He probably knows football worldwide. I still feel like Ed Woodward's going to have the same, mate. I think all this is doing is taking the bad transfers, or if anything does go wrong, away from Ed Woodward. And I will say I'm willing to give it time to see if it works. I'm not going to condemn it straight away, but I do have the fear of when employing from within, it does look like you're employing a couple of yes men, because they ultimately are working under you and will do as they're told. Rather than going out and buying the out-and-out director of football and one who's done it for years, we're promoting people into jobs that they've never done before. So time will tell. We'll see. And I think I've said it before on my channel, if their first signing is an English centre-back and possibly Ben White, I'm not saying that by laughing at that Ben White is a poor player. I think he's a very, very good player. But if United goes to Brighton with this new director of football team and gets slapped for 60 million for a Brighton centre-back, you're setting yourself up for a fall from the word go, mate, and it's not going to look good. It just looks like it's the same old thing.
Oh, mate, I mean, Ben White would be a terrible first signing in terms of... I mean, I don't think it'd be a terrible first signing, but in terms of the price that they're quoting as well, £60 million for...
Nah, you do not do that. If you've got anything about you, United, and Fletcher and Murta, if you've got anything about you, you'd say to Ole, find someone else. Yeah. Because we ain't going to throw ourselves under the bus here and get this. Not one player at that Brighton team, who's fighting relegation, by the way, is worth more than 30 million. And if it takes United losing a player, so be it. I don't care. I'm just sick of being absolutely having our pants pulled down after every single transfer. I mean, we did well to get Bruno for what it was, but you know what? Why didn't we go out and get Diaz when we had the chance? Why didn't we get Van Dijk when we had the chance? Because this sort of setup wasn't there at our football club and we dilly-dallied and we lost out. Maybe now. I don't know how good they are because it's the first time for both of these men in them particular roles. So only time will tell, mate. I
feel like these appointments, you said about the point there with Fletcher and the youth, and because of Murtaugh's previous role, I feel like this is edging towards we're not making big signings. We're edging to, we're going to sign
Baier contract talks, mate. That's where it's going. Like it has been announced today.
I mean, I don't really have a problem with Baier getting a new contract, to be honest. But I can just see it that way now. The likes of Diallo, Pellistri, them sort of youngsters that are sort of unknown quantities, and you sort of just, I'd say, like they're going to sort of have a sort of a scattergun approach where they pay, 40 or 50 million for 3 or 4 different youngsters, and just hope one of them sticks. I think that seems to be what they're going towards. But I mean, Murtaugh does have good credentials in terms of what he has done. So I mean, he was he brought in the young lad Hannibal Medjbury as well. He brought him into United. So, and he looks like a promising talent. But again, it's with young players he's worked with. It's not with the big stars, who we are hoping to bring in, the likes of a Haaland or a Sancho. So I mean, his credentials in that sense are yet to be tested. But I'm just hopeful that someone is going to make a bit of a difference in terms of our transfer negotiations, because Woodward, honest to fuck, he couldn't work his way out of a paper bag. Like he's just,
mate. There's 3 players that United should be looking to go for, and they're players that are masters of their roles, and this club, notoriously, and the stature of it, should be going for, and that's Grealish, that's Haaland, and that's Ndidi. And you're looking at a different scope altogether. But instead of that, we know what we're going to get. And we're talking about Eric Baier. Everyone knows I like him. I prefer him to play when he's fit. But this guy's been at the club for over 4 years and he's only just managed his 100th appearance for the club. Now, I dare to say Phil Jones' red flags are flying up right now around my head because he's better than Phil Jones. But in terms of injury record, this is exactly what happened with Phil Jones. Contract after contract after contract. And the guy has hardly kicked a ball for the football club. It's wasted money, mate. I'm looking at it going, this summer, Ollie spent 90 million, mate. And we've not seen one penny of that really influence our season. Diallo scored last night. Tellez makes the odd appearance. And don't even get me started on Van der Beek. So it's going to be a pressure cooker situation for this directors of football, mate, and this team, because we're all looking at it going, how has a manager spent that or signed off on that much money in a summer when you know money's tight and you really need every penny and not use these players? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just inexplicable, to be honest. I mean, Big Run's coming in here saying about how Liverpool buying Van Dijk at that price, 75 million. I mean, I even remember laughing myself when they signed him. I thought it was the biggest waste of money ever and how wrong I was on that. And then we signed Maguire for more, and he is half the player that Van Dijk is. So I mean, like, what can you do? No. And then he go, and then Ron's also talking about when Robertson signed from a relegated Hull side. That was the side Maguire was in as well. So, I mean, Robertson has looked amazing, but I think they're just one-offs, really and truly. The likes of a Robertson coming from a relegated side in Hull and going into Liverpool, slotting into a Liverpool team, and yeah.
Well, you look at it this way, mate. Look at it this way. There's defenders that have come into teams this season that every defence and every football club in the world, in Premier League, let's just say, would take. So you can say Tierney, Robertson, Van Dijk, Diaz. For what was spent on these players, you know what I mean? Why are we not there? Where's our scouting system on these players? Why are we deciding that Lindelof is better than Van Dijk and not beating Liverpool to signing Van Dijk? Where were we when Diaz was there for 30 million? before City even thought about him. Do you know what I mean, mate? I mean, Robertson, Tierney. I mean, we've bought players like Dan James, similar to Tierney, in championship-style football teams. Not worked. James has been on and off.
Harsh on Celtic there. Bit harsh on Celtic with a championship-style team.
Mate, if Celtic came into this division, mate, they'd be bottom half of the table.
Yeah,
along with Rangers.
No, that is fair enough.
And they would be in a relegation fight. They would. I mean, to be honest, with the Premier League money, that may change in years. But in terms of quality right now, then, yeah, you probably say championship standard for me. But if they came in the Premier League and stayed in it, I think they would generate a lot of money and therefore would probably grow into bigger and better teams. But for me right now, these players, why can't we find these players? And I know we've done that in Diallo. We've scouted him. He's young. We brought him through and possibly could turn out, going off so far what he did in the under-23s and again last night there, it could turn out to be a bargain. But and then you've got the next manager coming in, mate. So when Ollie does go, that 90 million he's spent, he's not really used it to save his cause, has he? So it makes you think, like, what is the plan there? Because there's no rumours or talk about Ollie's contract extension. I think they're just going to let him play it out till the end, mate, and say, thank you, you've done see the contract out to the end. We have no signing on fee. It's no buyout clause on his contracts to see him off. And they should be now looking for the next manager and making the moves and putting things in place for the year to come. That's how I see it, mate. The only way Ollie doesn't get the job next season if he doesn't make top four, which I still think we will do. But I think he should be elsewhere. I think we should be elsewhere looking now, doing our work on the next manager. Because Ollie, I don't think will get that next deal. I think he has probably hit the roof in terms of his quality and where he can take this team. And with no more money, I don't think he has got what it takes to take us or even bridge the gap closer to City.
Yeah, I can see your point, to be honest. I mean, I'm forever the romantic in hoping that he does do it for us. I feel like next season is the make or break. I feel like this season was, we spoke. I had this
season as my break, mate. I mean, the 2.5 years is long enough for me after this season. I need to see at least a style of football. And don't get me wrong, Ollie's laid some seriously strong foundations for the next guy. I'm not going to take that away from him. I'm really not. Yeah. He has laid some strong foundations, but there is always someone better, and United should always be looking at that and saying, look, we're Manchester United. We shouldn't accept that we're going to be in this transition for years and years and years, going on to a decade now. We've always got to be looking for better. And if Ollie turns it around, I'll be the first to hold my hands up. But I don't see him being any better than where he is now. That's my point. And now has been better. The best it's been since Ferguson left. I'm not hiding that fact. But where do we go from next year, mate, if we finish second? Is everything a failure if he doesn't win the league?
Yeah, I think that is personally, that's how I see it. I think he needs to be substantially backed in the transfer market, and he was shafted last summer.
There's one for you. There's one for you, mate. If he is being really backed, if he gets substantial money to be backed, does that mean that he gets the contract? Because he'll only have 1 year to go.
Yeah, I mean it's a difficult one. I don't know how the Glazers are going to work it, but I feel like
you think they've had their hands burned before with the big contracts with the managers.
But also, there's no. This is the difference between Ollie and Jose Mourinho. Jose was flirting with PSG, trying to basically get us jealous, like basically go and try and flirt him with his ex, essentially, and well, not his ex or some other fit bird. The way to describe it. But he was trying it, and then it ends up with us giving him that contract extension. We gave him that contract extension and then didn't back him. If you're giving him that extension, you've got to back him, or just don't give it to him in the first place. And we didn't back him, and we had to. I mean, how much did we pay him as a payout in the end? Was it 18 mil or something like that? A whole lot of money for someone who didn't do a great job.
Difference from landing Sancho.
I mean, if we have Sancho this season, I think we are doing a lot better.
There's another option for us in that forward line.
In terms of Haaland?
No. I mean, no. If we had Sancho this season,
okay, yeah.
Then we've got that. We're not limited, and we're not stressing because our forwards this season have been poor. They have been really poor, and if Sancho's there, we've got that little bit of a like a stopgap, like someone else to come in and take the pressure off. Whereas this season, the players haven't performed, and the pressure's been solely on Bruno, and he can only carry us for so long. So yeah, I mean, it may have been different. I still don't think the defense would have been any better, but that we all know.
Yeah. No, I mean, Ron's one's about Mings, McGinn, and Grealish. I mean, I like McGinn. I think he's a good player, but I think in terms of where we want to go, I think the only one I'd have out of that three is Grealish. Really and truly. I mean, I can see us signing Mings though. I can see that. I can so see that because he's English and like I could really see that one happening. I mean. I was going to talk about a few of the games, but I think there's just so much to talk about United. But
what happens, mate? It's good.
I mean, it's called the Crafty Couple for a reason. We go out for a couple of beers on a Friday night. Well, we can't anymore. But, that's what we do. That's why we do it this way. But I mean, talking about United is depressing me. So let's move on to the league fixtures. And tonight, Newcastle are playing Villa. Who's getting the win there?
Oh, good God!
It's on now. It's on right now. I do not know the current score, but I'm guessing it's not fucking entertaining at all. Steve Bruce versus Dean Smith. Maybe a bit of magic.
All depends if Grealish is playing, mate. No, it's 0-0 after 10 minutes, mate. But if you're looking at the lineups in this one, Newcastle, Joe Linton and Gale up front. I'll leave that with you.
That's iconic, that is.
I'm looking at Villa's team with no Grealish again. Watkins and Trezeguet up front. It's got 1-1 writ all over that for me, mate. I just feel like Steve Bruce needs just points right now, and any point is a good point for Newcastle just to stay ahead of the likes of Fulham. But the fact that Newcastle are ahead of Brighton as well now, and how they've been dragged into it. So they've got two teams that they can now stay above. Look at the results in the league and go, right, okay, we can take advantage of this. But Villa, I just think are in that comfort zone now, mate. Without Grealish, they're just not the same. But I think simply because of that, it's got to draw it all over it, mate.
Yeah, I mean, Big Ron reckons it's going to be a 0-0. I'm going to say Villa will edge it out narrowly. And then we've got tomorrow. Yeah, Villa edge out narrowly 2-1. Tomorrow we've got a clash that normally used to be a proper good old tear up on the terraces at Ellen Road. I'd say Leeds versus Chelsea. I mean, I'm sure the Chelsea Rangers and whatever Leeds' firm are called used to kick fuck out of each other back in the day, but sadly they won't be able to do that. They could just shout at each other via Zoom.
I think tactically Chelsea will have Leeds on this one. Yeah. I mean, Tuchel, I just think, and Bielsa, for all the raving that everyone has done about his style of football and whatnot, it's always been, he's had his chances at big clubs and failed, but at Leeds, I think Championship was the best he was going to get with this bunch of players. I'm not slating the players at all. They've done well since they've come up. I think Leeds are happy where they are, to be honest. I think if you'd have offered them that, and every Leeds fan would have took it early on in the season. But I think Chelsea, they've just got that big squad. They've just got the right manager in now to deal with someone like Bielsa. And I just think it's, for me, I think 2-0 Chelsea, mate. I think they've got this one.
2-0 Chelsea. Yeah, I think it's going to be one of those games where Leeds just don't turn up for the day because they seem to do that. They'll either have the game of their life or they're just non-existent. Yeah. So I'm actually going to say 3-0 Chelsea because Tuchel seems to have got playing really well, man. I mean, that 0-0 doesn't actually look like a bad result now, looking at it realistically.
Considering they went and beat Liverpool as well, they're closing the gap, mate, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean they look like a good side, and they seem to do it. They seem to do it very well in bringing in a new manager and sort of reigniting that flame amongst the players. one that no one's excited for: Hodgson versus Allardyce, 3:00, Palace West Brom. Fuck
wow!
me.
Oh God, mate! If there was an advertisement for the Premier League, this is not it. And this is a game you give a wide berth. Imagine if they still had pay-per-views going. I don't think any of their own fans would have subscribed to this game, mate.
Mate, honest to God, it's on at 3:00. Because I'd rather watch paint dry. Like,
yeah, do you know what, mate? Do you know who I feel worse for in all of this? I feel worse for the commentator. He's thinking, really, we got to televise this game, mate. I'm going straight out 0-0.
Straight out 0-0. I'm gonna go for a 1-0 Palace. Because I just think, what's that? The lad that they signed in January, I think is it Matata or something? He's a French lad. They signed him from Mainz. He scored against Brighton. He looked quite good. So I think he'll get a goal. Just a scrappy shit 1-0. Nothing to write home about at all. Big Ron reckons it's the battle of the pensioners and I think that's pretty bang on, to be honest. And then we move on to the 5:30 Everton versus Burnley. I can only see a comfortable Everton win here myself, to be honest. I think Burnley are getting to that point where they're safe now. So I could see, I'm going to say 2-0 Everton. That's what are you thinking?
Problem you've got there is that Goodison Park, innit? And Everton's home form is crap. So, you know what? I'm going to go for a surprise draw in this, mate. I think Burnley are going to get a 1-1 here. Everton's home form is horrendous. So, I just feel like Dice is going to do what Dice does. I just fancy him. I fancy him to snick a draw.
Fancy him to nick a draw. I mean, it's not beyond the realms of possibility. But then we move on to the 8:00 game. I mean, we're talking about, right, it going away from the fans. Imagine now if we have to go to a game at 8:00 on a Saturday night.
Mate, I don't think we'll ever have to deal with it if the fans come back, will we? I think the Gaulish football will stop. But if it did, I'm giving up, mate, because we're not getting back. We're having to accept that we're going to have to stay out at a hotel if we go to an away game.
Exactly. I do enjoy an old night out with Manchester, but you're not getting in anywhere. You're not getting into a bar. You've got to go to a nightclub. Then it kills the vibe. There's no, because a lot of football as well is the going out with it as well, and it just doesn't suit the culture of football.
Bring back the 3:00, mate. Bring back the 3:00. Get a bit of a mops and stoned. Out you go then for a drink later on, mate. Where them days gone? Do you know what I mean?
Mate, honestly, I miss it. Like, that's why I used to love when he had a 3:00. That's why I hated being in the Europa League.
When was our last 3:00, mate?
I don't actually. I think it was probably. Do you know what? The only one that's coming to mind is when it's the last game of the season, but that's on a Sunday as well against Watford. Doesn't really count, does it? I honestly cannot remember the last time we had a 3:00 kickoff. I actually cannot remember. I mean, that game tomorrow at 8:00 though is Fulham versus City, and if there was one side that could possibly pull out a shock against those horrible lot from East Manchester, it could be Fulham. It could be Fulham.
Good thing to point out that, mate, because not only are they getting the result, but defensively they've looked a lot more solid, and you're going to need that against City. It is. I mean, they got over us quickly by smashing Southampton the other day, but starting to concede goals now, City. That unbreakable defence is starting to flap a little bit more now. 4 in 2 games at home as well. So, you know what? There is always that chance, mate. 4-1 for the draw for Fulham to actually win the game. Oh, no, it's draw, sorry. 4-1 for the draw. It's
4-1 for the draw?
Yeah.
Seriously? Jeez, I'm going to stick a tenner on that anyway.
Seriously, mate. That's what it was.
That is mental. I mean, Fulham have looked good as well. And Scotty Parker's doing a great job down there. That lad they got at the back, is it Baier or something, I think?
Yeah,
he looks quality, mate.
He looks good. Lookman's come back firing big time. You know what I mean? What's the name? What's Loftus-Cheek in the middle? I always rated him good player. I know what
he's injured every 2 minutes.
I know it's another one, isn't he? But Parker's stock is rising quickly, mate.
Yeah. No, definitely. I think I'm actually going to go for a 1-1 draw here. I mean, Ron is not in agreement with me. He said City just crush it, but Fulham do play well. Fingers are crossed. But I think I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. I mean, Ads, are you as optimistic as I am, or are you
I think it'll be 1-1, and then City will win 3-1 in the last 10 minutes. I just got that feeling.
I know the sort of game you're on about as well, where you just have hope the whole game and you just get killed in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, pretty much like Wolves did against them.
Yeah, I mean that was gutting. I gave it large on Instagram as well. I made it look like a right fucking mug. And Ron reckons he'd take Lippman in the squad. I mean, we could have worse options, but I think I'd rather promote from our own youth.
Imagine if Fulham go down. There's going to be some people in for him, isn't there?
He's only on loan from Leipzig. He's only on loan from Leipzig, though. And
Leipzig are bringing in a couple of players already. So I'm thinking that Leipzig will be looking to sell in the summer. I'm telling you now. And they will look at the opportunity now and go, look where we are without him. Let's cash in now and let's make the most of it. Because I'm telling you right now, mate, Lookman ain't going anywhere but Premier League next season. Now he's had a taste of it.
Yeah, I see the point there. I mean, he wouldn't be a bad addition to our squad now that I think of it. But I don't know. I'd rather promote from within our own system in terms of bringing in a forward. I think we've got a lot of talented forwards coming through our youth ranks.
Mate, we have, haven't we? Just
Charlie McNeil, Joe Hugel. I mean, I have got really excited about very average young players coming through before, but these don't look average in the slightest. But
no. I mean, McNeil just looks like the deal, doesn't he? He's scary.
If you're 16 years old and someone's paying £1 million for you, you are the dog's bollocks. There is no two ways about it.
He's averaging a goal a game, isn't he, already? He always smashed it up for City at the youth level when he was younger. But right now, this season, for the amount of games he's played, I think he's scored as many as he's played in. He scored again at weekend against Liverpool, won the game, twice against Liverpool now. See, I mean, he just looks the deal, doesn't he? But like you said, let's just hopefully.
Let's try it.
He's a United fan, so he's not going anywhere anytime soon. So we don't have that worry. Let's look after these players.
No, he looks mint, and hopefully he's good. I just checked it out there. Fulham are 4-1 for the draw and 17-2 for the win. It's worth a five, I'd say.
4-1. It's a free night out, isn't it? If you get that right, little sneaky tenner, mate. He's out for a meal.
I mean, where am I? I mean, I can go and get a pizza and sit in the car probably, but that's about it.
That's why I said it, mate. It's easy. It's not going to cost you.
Just sit in the car and have a nice little pizza. I mean, I've done it before. It's a nice thing to do. But then we have a Sunday, basically morning, 12 o'clock. South Coast derby, Southampton versus Brighton. Southampton are on a serious decline at the moment,
mate. But what are Brighton doing? This is the form battle of the season, isn't it? This.
No, but this is what really annoys me about Brighton. Everyone's like, "Oh, but their XG says that they should be here." And I honestly, I don't mind XG as a statistic, but it's things like this when you have forwards that are misfiring so much that it just doesn't make sense. Apparently, expected points they should have 27 from home, and they've only got 26 all season. Honestly, I think
crap them stats, mate. No reality at all.
I just don't like them. I think there's no reality, as you say, because they're just poor strikers. But I can see this being a draw, mate. I don't know about you.
Same, mate. Brighton really, really need a win. They're playing well, but they're not getting results. Maybe they should revert back to some just tried and trusted, sit deep, play some long ball football, rather than playing this nice football. At the bottom, it doesn't really get you anywhere. As sad as it is, and you have to give credit for sticking to a certain style of football and it looking better, but I'm sure them Brighton fans coming back next season would rather be coming back in the Premier League having played a few long balls rather than playing a few ticky-tacky passes out from the back, not going anywhere. No, Danny. I don't think Danny Ings injured still for Southampton. I think that contract mess up and mishap from Southampton has been a massive detriment on their season, mate. Because ever since that came in, and he didn't agree that deal when Danny Ings was hitting the heights, he has gone off the boil completely and doesn't look like his heart's in it. And no surprise, Southampton's decline has come at exactly the same time. You know what? They beat Liverpool, and then it just went completely Pete Tong, mate, didn't it? 1 win since then.
It went completely downhill after that Liverpool game. I mean, it's just they just don't look a great side at all.
Mate, they've only beat Sheffield United, who were down. That's it in that whole time. Then,
I mean, it's not looking well for them, and I just can't see it being a great game of football. To be honest, I can see it just being. I think it could actually look all right on the eye, but in terms of the result for either side, they both need a win. But I can only see it being a draw. I'm going to say a 1-1. And then
same.
That's what you think. And then Leicester, Sheffield United, the 2:00 kickoff. Leicester should win that very easily.
Leicester are putting pressure on us. Leicester's own form is crap, but Sheffield United look finished. The manager's already accepted the down. The players are playing like the down. He's calling the players out now. I think
Chris Wilder has. Well, I've seen a report today that he is pretty much agreed to leave, which is quite sad because he's like a massive Sheffield United fan.
I'm not surprised, mate, after the comments he made after the last game.
I didn't see those comments, to be honest.
He's starting to publicly slate the players and saying that some players here don't belong here or are not good enough to play here and fight here. They don't want to be here. As soon as that happens, and Leicester are going to win this 3 or 4-0, mate, easily.
3 or 4-0. I mean, if there's that sort of tension within the dressing room, then you can't see them playing for him, whether he's there or not. Maybe if he does go, it could change something, but it should be a comfortable win for Leicester. I'm going to say 2-0. Move on then to probably the biggest game of the weekend, I'd say, for the neutral anyway. In the North London derby, we've got Arsenal versus Tottenham, and it's probably the battle for 8th, is it now, or the battle for 7th, or what position is it? Is it the battle for this week?
Europa League favourites.
Yeah,
that's it. That's what it is, mate. Because both are going into the quarterfinals of the Europa League, so them eggs are starting to be arranged into certain baskets, and I do think that this is all about pride. I don't think Mourinho will want to lose to Arteta. Pep's former second man, who he does not like, and then obviously it's the North London derby. Arteta will know what it means to the Arsenal fans. He's just one of them, mate, isn't it? It's like, who's got the energy after the European exploits in the week? Who's got the fitter players? I just feel like Tottenham have got better players, but Arsenal style of football, it's a tough one to call, mate. I can actually see another draw in it. I can see a score draw, a 2-2. A Desmond.
Ooh, an old Desmond. You do like to predict an old Desmond every once in a while, Ed. Hello? I'm back. Oh, there we go. You do. I was just saying, you do like an old Desmond as a prediction every once in a while. It's a favourite of yours. I mean, it would be a good game of football to watch. I mean, it is Mother's Day. It is Mother's Day as well. Please don't forget to get your mothers a card and some chocolates to show your love to them, because they are important people. But it is, very important people. I mean, my mother doesn't drink, so she didn't manage to stop me doing that. But she's done a lot for me in life. So you got to pay homage to the mothers. But Arsenal versus Tottenham. I mean, I can. Both had quite good wins last night as well. I mean, Tottenham won 2-0. Mo El-Neni scored a once-in-a-career goal. That, I don't know what happened there. He decided he woke up and became Zinedine El-Neni, as we've seen all over Twitter. But I can see Tottenham winning this one. I think they just have the edge over Arsenal at the moment. And in a derby like this, I think that's very important.
Is it the moment for Gareth Bale?
Gareth Bale to absolutely turn an empty Emirates inside out. It could be a huge one. And I honestly, I think a link-up play between Bale and Kane, and it could be, I think I'm going to go for 3-1 Spurs. I think that's what I'm going to go for. But we move on to, I thought the 8 o'clock on a Sunday was bad. 7:15, on a Saturday, 7:15 on a Sunday is an absolute piss take. If they have this when we are back at the ground, I'll riot, mate. That's just not right.
5 was enough, mate. 5's enough of a piss take.
Oh, I mean, honest to God, if it's 7:15 on a Sunday, that's just ruining everything. You're gonna have to have Monday off work most of the time if you want to go to a Sunday game. It's just gonna kill it. It's just absolutely going to kill it. But Moisey makes his second return this season to Old Trafford after the loss in the FA Cup. That was a narrow win in extra time, and it's a difficult game. West Ham are absolutely flying it. Obviously, they won't be able to play our lovely lad Jesse Lingardinho, but they're a great side, and they've got a lot of great players. I mean, are you confident going into this one? Do you think we'll come out on the other side?
No, mate, I'm worried. Our main reason I'm worried is the amount of injuries we've got, how flat the game is, how knackered we're going to be after that, how West Ham have had a full week off to prepare for it. David Moyes coming back to Old Trafford, ready to rub salt in the wound. Souček, Antonio. You know what I mean? You've got, I can't remember his bloody name on the wing. Bowen on the wing. Rice, there's just so many good players in that team right now, and I can't believe I'm saying that, but let's be honest, there's a few of them West Ham players who probably get a run at United at the moment.
But a few? I'd say there's probably about 5 or 6 that would probably get a decent run.
This is how bad it is, mate. How we're second in the league talking like this is it's crazy, isn't it? How crazy the season's been, but it's truths, mate. That's what it is, and I think, you know what? If anything, I think we can scrape it 2-1, but it's going to be a horrible game for us.
I think it's going to be an absolutely horrendous game. And I mean, there's talk now. I think it was quite convenient that De Gea was not going to be rumoured to be coming back for a very long time, and Henderson makes a blunder in the AC Milan game, and all of a sudden he's been in Manchester since Monday. That came out today. So I mean, yeah. I mean, in terms of your starting 11, who are you going as your back 5? Who do you think Dave will get back into net, or do you think Dino?
No, he shouldn't do, mate. He shouldn't do. But I won't put anything past Ole. He's just a bottle job when it comes to some of these player decisions. Henderson should be getting the run he deserves. He made a mistake. Yeah, he was at fault for the goal, but do you know what I mean? This is going to happen. Every goalkeeper makes mistakes. Look at Alisson making mistakes. The problem with Alisson is he's a lot better on the ball, and he's better at coming and catching the ball than what De Gea is. De Gea can make brilliant saves, but I fear for the life of me every time a ball goes in the box with him. Yeah, Henderson made the mistake, but he stays in goal for me. I was talking about this before, actually. I'm looking at the lack of attacking options for United right now and injuries. So I was saying if Cavani, like Solskjaer was saying, may be back, I would be inclined to go with 3 at the back, mate. I would put Shaw next to Baier and Maguire as the 3. I would play Telles on one side, put Wan-Bissaka on the other. And then, oh God, what do you do with that midfield, mate? It's one of them, innit? It's going to be McFred, innit? We know that. Unfortunately,
yeah, it is.
Bruno
we don't have a lot of options, to be honest, man.
And then Greenwood and Cavani up front. Because I'm saying that because I think Martial and Rashford will still be injured. So that would be my team. I'm just thinking you could even play Dan James as a right wing back and take Wan-Bissaka out if you wanted to go for a win. Crazy that sounds. But I'm looking for people to cross the ball in the box, change it up, take the focus off Bruno. Telles and James both do that. I mean, they're probably the most out-and-out wingers we've got. Wan-Bissaka can't really cross the ball, but he's going to play it safe. We know it's going to be a 4-2-3-1, and we know who's going to play. I think Cavani will lead the line. We'll probably have Greenwood and James either side of him, with Bruno behind him, with McFred, Shaw, Bissaka, Lindelof, Maguire, Henderson. It's not the team I'd pick. I'd try and mix it up, but Ollie's very stubborn with his formation, mate. And if there's players that aren't playing well in it, he'll just find another player, even if it doesn't suit him, to play in place of him in that same formation.
Yeah, I mean, there was a question earlier from Carwyn Jones about whether Cavani was in or out, but it seems like Cavani will be playing this weekend.
Yeah, Ollie has rumoured that if he doesn't play, I'm really worried about who we put in. And then when Cavani does play, he's still not perfectly match fit. He needs time to bed in, and how long can we wait? There's red flags flying everywhere here, and they're not supporting ones, mate. They're worrying red flags, mate. That's what's coming out of this game. But I'm there to be surprised again. I didn't expect what I've seen against City, but then again, we did have Martial and Rashford fit for that game, so that gives you every little bit more of a chance.
Yeah, I know what you're
It's
saying.
all down to that. It's down to that starting lineup, mate.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying. I don't think he'll make any sort of changes like that. To be honest, I can see it being a 4-3-3. But I just like if Cavani. I think it mainly depends on whether Cavani comes back into the side or not.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't. I mean, I don't see him giving Ahmad a start. I think Ahmad might come on off the bench because he did make a difference in that Milan game. So, and we are short of forward options at the moment, so it is a likely possibility. But I could say I can see Henderson starting in there, and I think you'll have the standard back four of. I think you'll see Baier come in for Lindelof for this game, and I think you'll see Wan-Bissaka, Baier, Maguire, and Luke Shaw, and hopefully Shaw continues that flying form that he's been doing, and you're going to see him at Fred. That is just how it is, mate. That's just as sad as it is. That's what you're going to see. And then I have a feeling that Rashford, just because of the way he always has, I don't think he should, but I have a feeling that Rashford will be back. I have a feeling he'll pump himself
playing injured again.
I don't want him to. I would much rather he had 2 weeks off to recover, because it's going to ruin his career. I don't. But he loves the club like me and you, and I honestly feel like Rashford will just pump himself for the painkillers and run out onto the pitch. That is how I think he's going to do it. And I think Rashford will be on the left. We'll have Cavani through the middle, and we'll have Greenwood on the right. I think that's what we'll do. It's not something I want to see, because I don't want to see Rashford play. I think he needs to have a good, at least. I think he needs to miss this game and at least the Milan game next. He needs to have that time off. Maybe you bring him in for the Leicester game, but I even wouldn't risk that. I'd wait until after the international break to bring him back. Let him have a good, time to rest and recuperate. But I just can't see him doing it. I mean, the dangers of West Ham. You've got the likes of Antonio. You need to bring in I think I'll bring in Baier there, because I think Lindelof will get absolutely bullied by Antonio. So I just cannot have Lindelof started in that back line. I just don't want to see it. But West Ham's dangers. Do you think we're able to cope with them? Are we going to get a win?
Well, mate, I'm clinging on to hope right now, mate, more than anything. If it came down to who's fittest and who's available for each team, I'd say West Ham would win. I'm wanting someone from United to stand up and be counted again like they did against City and hopefully surprise us. It's just going to be a hard watch, I think. I can see us scraping a 2-1 at best. But any result would not surprise me, mate, in this game. Any result.
A 2-1 scrape at best. I mean, I am forever the optimist, but even this one is a struggle for me, because I just think West Ham are going to be really fired up for this one. But I'm going to agree with you, as I want to say a 2-1, but it wouldn't surprise me if we lost this game. I'm not going into this confident at all. But as you said before, we were surprised last weekend with the City result, and hopefully we get a nice surprise like we did last week. Oh mate, I was bouncing around the place for about 2 hours afterwards. But we move on to I was bouncing around the place till I had to go to A&E, but that's another story for another time. We move on to Monday, and it's the 8:00 kickoff with Wolves versus Liverpool. And I mean, I don't know about you, Ads, but I've never been happier to see the demise of anything in my entire life.
This is as bad as United's season demise for drop-off.
David Moyes' side was actually, I think it's 4 points better off than them at this point in the season. I mean, it's crazy, mate. It's wonderful to watch, isn't it? It's just wonderful.
They're in part. If they don't get Champions League football, Liverpool, then you can imagine what's going to happen next season. The owners don't spend a lot anyway. We know that with American owners ourselves. And without Champions League football, oh my days, who are they going to attract? And then the players that want to leave, Mate, it's going to be a free-for-all in that club in the summer if they don't make top 4. But Wolves are stubborn. Wolves have got a pretty decent record against Liverpool as well. So I can see a draw in this one and not helping Liverpool's cause whatsoever, mate.
A draw in this one? I mean, I tend to agree with you because Wolves, without Jimenez, they've sort of lost that sort of spark going forward. I mean, it was a terrible injury what happened to Jimenez, man. It was horrible. But without him, I mean, they've signed that Willian Jose. He hasn't seemed like he's doing the business, to be honest. And that Fabio Silva, neither is that Fabio Silva. But I just don't think Liverpool are a good side anymore. I mean, they got a good result. They got a good result against Leipzig, but
might be their only chance, mate. One-off games.
If they won the fucking Champions League this year, that would honestly
destroy you.
Fuck, man. That would honestly just like because it's just combining what have been the worst sort of footballing years of my life. Like you had City win the league, Scousers win the Champions League, then you had Scousers win the league, and now you're looking at City probably possibly winning another domestic treble, and then the Scousers win the Champions League. I mean, mate, honestly, fucking hell, be ringing the Samaritans having a cry. I mean, it's not the one, but I'm hoping Wolves will get a result, but I do think this one's going to end in a draw. And I can see a draw there, and that brings us to the end. But I do love a random question, as always, and as me and you do love an away day. So your favourite? I've asked you this one before a while ago, but maybe you get a different one this time. But your favourite away day memory?
I mean, there's loads, isn't there, mate? To be honest, I mean, some of the City games have been absolutely epic. The West Ham was one I said last time to you when we beat them 5-3. The all-day session, they're feeling absolutely rotten, but we won 5-3. It was a brilliant game. On the coach on the way back, oh mate, it was brilliant. I was talking about the AC Milan away game the other day. Even though we lost, it was absolutely brilliant.
Which one was that?
Amazing atmosphere. 1-0, 1-0, 2005. Herman Crespo scored both goals.
Yeah, no, well, man was that actually, yeah.
They were brilliant. I think that was the season before we got battered by the Roma police, and it all kicked off in terms of away fans.
I remember that.
Yeah, that I would say that AC Milan experience was something else, mate. The noise and the way that stadium. You stand outside the San Siro, it dwarfs Old Trafford. Mate, it makes it look like the Etihad. It's seriously, that's how tall it is. It's like the Bernabeu is sunk in. San Siro's not. It's just boom, there. Structure, towering. It is an awesome stadium. I'm going to go with that one for the sake of this one not being the same, mate. But yeah, one in England, one in Europe. Absolutely loved that place. Fans were amazing.
You can't really argue with that one, mate. The San Siro. I mean, it's falling apart. I think they've called it off.
New stadium, mate. New stadium.
I know, that's why I want to get out there before it closes down, because it's one of them grounds you sort of just have to go to as a football fan.
It is the structure of it and everything, mate. It is it's brilliant. It'll take your breath away. That's how good it is.
Yeah, I mean that it's definitely on the bucket list. And same with Dortmund as well. That's one is definitely
the wall.
Definitely on the bucket list for me. But I mean, maybe not just an away day memory for me, but one of our favourite away days that is a regular place to go is Palace.
I honestly, the only time that we don't turn up is when there's no fans there, mate. Like it was last week, innit?
I've been there a couple of times. We had a few 0-0s there as well. They were dreadful. I mean, it's easier for me to get to Manchester than it is for me to get to South London from North London. But like but it is always a great away day because they've got that sort of outdoor bit. Everyone's sort of smoking, drinking, having a crack, and it's just a proper old school stadium. And it's just like I don't know. I just like that sort of like old school sort of not shithole, but in a way shithole vibes. And that's just yeah, no, I just like it. Everyone's drinking, having a fun, having a sing song. That's just the way football should be, and hopefully we get back to that soon, mate.
Definitely, mate.
I mean, mate, I think we will. I think we will. It's looking promising. We're getting phone calls from the ticket office and everything now.
That's it,
mate. That's it now. For now, please do like, share, and subscribe. As if you want to give a shout out to yourself, mate.
Yeah, catch me on all socials at Adam Matic. You'll find me there. Adam Matic, Twitter, Adam Matic31 on Instagram, and then Adam Matic TV on YouTube.
Yeah, please like, share, and subscribe. It does help the channel out. So thanks very much for tuning in, and I'll see you next week.